Hey, what's up, soldiers? My name is Greg FPS, the Blackout Extraordinaire, and today what I have for you guys is going to be the top 5 best loot locations in Blackout for Black Ops 4, at least in the beta. So I'm going to be going through my top 5. These are like my personal opinion. I think these are the best spots for sure for getting the best setup right away as soon as you land in Blackout. Now, before we get into the video, if you guys do enjoy, please do me a favor and drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new for more Blackout videos this week. And also I will be making Blackout videos in Black Ops 4 as well, along with zombies, but mostly zombies. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you guys do end up subscribing. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Coming in at the number 5 spot is going to be the Lighthouse in Blackout, which is supposed to be the Call of the Dead lighthouse. Now, it does have a zombie location there, so if you're lucky enough, you get the box right away. You can get level 3 armor and most likely a completely decked out golden weapon, which is really, really nice just directly from the box, and you can most likely get a trauma kit as well. But as far as like an actual great drop location, the reason I think that the Lighthouse is really good is because it has 4 floors of loot, and usually you're gonna get a couple really good guns, and you're also gonna get a ridiculous amount of like healing and first aid kits and all that stuff, so you'll be completely set if you ever get hurt or anything like that. Now, usually the storm is probably really far away from the lighthouse, which can be the only downside to this, but to me it seems like other than that, I would say that this is a great location. Now, as far as like getting away from this location, you can get either a boat to spawn or a 4-wheeler to spawn pretty much every single game, and there are like an occasional, probably like 1 out of 10 games where you won't get one of those, and sometimes you get both at the same time. So usually you can escape really easily, whether it's by water or just getting a 4-wheeler, things like that. I would say this is definitely one of the better solo spots, not so much for squads, but as far as solo goes, it's definitely one of the best locations. Coming in at the number 4 spot is going to be the cemetery. Now, this one is to the right of Verrucht, a little bit higher, and this is probably one of the most underrated locations that no one ever goes to every single game. It just seems like whenever I land here, there are never any other players that land there. The closest people are going to land is Verrucht, and the great thing about it is, since it's really close to Verrucht, once you go through and loot everything in the cemetery, you can make your way over to Verrucht, which is really nice. Now, the good thing about the cemetery is sometimes you can get the box to spawn there, so you will get a large amount of zombies, but other than that, there is a ton of loot in there. There's some really big like monuments, and inside of those, there's always going to be weapons. You can get fully decked out. There's always a level 3 armor that spawns in there pretty much every time, and also you have a very good chance of getting a golden weapon every single time I land there. There's always at least one, and it just seems to be one of the most consistently best locations, not only because no one lands there, but also because of how good you can get equipped. There are tons and tons of first aid kits on top of tombs as well, which are literally scattered all over throughout that area. Now, the only downside to this area is the fact that usually everything is really hard to see because there's so much greenery and like grass and weeds growing in the cemetery. So that's the biggest downside, and also the zombies can be really annoying. Now, there is always a 4-wheeler usually on like the left side or right side rather of the cemetery. There's like 4 entrances, one on each side, and on the right one, if you're like looking towards Verrucht, there's usually a 4-wheeler there, which is nice, and it's on a dirt path, so you can get out of there really quick if you need to. Now, I think that this spot is really underrated, like I said, because no one ever seems to land there, and it's not marked on the map, and usually all the locations on the actual map are like, people go to those exact locations. They don't go to some of the smaller ones that aren't marked. So this is by far one of my favorite spots, and it's really good. Coming in at the number 3 spot is going to be the Nuketown Bunker. Now, Nuketown and Firing Range have the highest traffic every single game, and I wouldn't really recommend going to the Nuketown Bunker if the helicopter is flying right over it, like the path to drop out of the helicopter. I wouldn't really recommend going to Nuketown because it's going to be very, very populated. But if you have it kind of like the deployment path in the middle of the map, then Nuketown is a really, really good option for a couple different reasons. The first one is why I said the bunker. Literally, as soon as I land there, I go in the bunker immediately. And what this is going to do is it is going to allow me to have a bunch of different places to go from there, because in the bunker there is a pool area or a lounge area, there's like a food area, and then there's a couple different hallways, and also there is the storage area. And the storage area usually always has one of the special crates, and also that can spawn in the food area as well. Usually it will spawn in one of those locations every single game, which is really nice. Now, the reason I specifically said the bunker was because a lot of people stay above ground and loot the houses, but they don't actually go into the bunker. So it seems like whenever I play solo, I'll maybe get one other person down there in the bunker, and that is completely it. Now, like I said, it all depends on where the bus is going. If it's going right over Nuketown, you could get a chance to get maybe 5 people down there. But if you're playing in squads, it's a really, really good place to be with your friends, because you can cover everyone's back and watch all the hallways, and then you can escape right away and get right back to like the mainland. So it's definitely a really, really good location. It's one of my favorites, if not my favorite, and I really, really like this one. Now, it is definitely the highest trafficked one, so it can be a little bit hard if you're not the most experienced player, but I've definitely won a lot of matches going to Nuketown first, so I definitely say Nuketown comes in at the number 3 spot. Coming in at the number 2 spot is going to be construction. Now, this seems to be one of the places that not a lot of people go to, and I'm kind of surprised because of how much loot there is. There's so many different levels to the construction building, and on each level there's always some really good stuff. You can get really good armor, you can get golden weapons. It seems like golden weapons spawn the most at construction and turbine, and it's just like a really, really good location overall. Now, another great thing about this is you can usually always get a truck or a four-wheeler in front, and sometimes, but very rarely, you can get a helicopter to spawn on the helicopter pad, which is on the like top level of the construction building. Now, the really good thing about this building as well is since you have so much like height and verticality to it, you can just jump off as soon as you get what you want. So say you want to get like good loot and one gun and you're set like right away, you can just jump off, open up your wingsuit and land, and then you can peace out of there. So it's really nice because you can just get out as soon as you need to be. If the circle's really far for the storm or something like that, you can just get out really, really fast, which is always really nice. So I would definitely say that construction is by far one of the most underrated places, and it seems like maybe you'll get like one team to go there if you're playing quads, but other than that, it's really not that bad. And it's like so good because it has so much loot for every person in your quad, so you guys can all load up, get 2 weapons, get armor, get everything you need, a ton of heals as well, and then you're good to go, and you can, you know, tear it up on the rest of the map. So this one is definitely a really, really good location. I feel like a lot of people don't go here, but yeah, construction comes in at the number 2 spot. And coming in as the number 1 spot, the best place for the best loot and the most loot when you start a game on Blackout is going to be Turbine. Now, before you guys say, what the hell are you talking about? Let me explain myself, okay? So obviously Turbine is a Black Ops 2 map, and it has the windmills, and it has the bridge, and it has the broken windmill that you can run on, things like that, kind of in like a dipped in area. But there's another part that is considered Turbine in Blackout, at least, where it has 2 huge hangars and also a smaller hangar in front of it. Now, Now, the best thing about Turbine is these hangars, because each hangar has a ridiculous amount of loot. You can get gold weapons, and you can also get tier 3 armor, and you can get a ridiculous amount of bandages and first aid kits and everything you need, which is really, really nice in those two hangars. So if you're playing with squads, just split it up. 2 people go in the right one, 2 people go in the left one, and you can get a ridiculous amount of loot. Now, another great thing about this as well is the hangar in front of it, which is also going to have some more loot as well if you don't get anything in those two. And not only that, there is a helicopter spawn that is right in front of the small hangar, which is another great way to escape if you get the storm on the other side of the map or something. And not only that, but there are a bunch of smaller buildings that are kind of behind the first small building, so you can go in there, and usually there's going to be like submachine guns and a lot of heals and first aid kits and things like that, so you can get those as well. Now, unfortunately, it isn't a zombie spawn like some of the other ones, where zombie spawns are really, really good, but I feel like this spot makes up for it because you can get so many good weapons, and it seems like every single game there's always going to be at least one sniper rifle per hangar, which is really nice. If you like to snipe, that's probably your best bet to get a sniper rifle every single game. And not only that, but there are some big like metal, or I guess they're like concrete pipes, and you can go in each one, and usually there's always one item per like circular pipe, and usually you can get attachments for your guns and get them fully decked out, which is really nice. And also there's always sniper scopes in those at least once, so you are definitely going to be able to get a scope for your sniper rifle. Now, like I said, this one does spawn a lot of gold weapons. It seems like in each of the bigger hangars there's always going to be at least one golden weapon, which is really nice. And overall, I think Turbine is by far the best. Now, earlier this morning, I've been up for a very, very long time. I was playing, and we went on a 4-game win streak going to Turbine every single time, and it just seems like when you go to Turbine, everyone gets so set up in quads where you have the best possible setup, and then you can just go and wreck every single person. And obviously it does take some skill to be good at the game and learn the rotations and everything, but a 4-game win streak is pretty good landing in the same spot, and we rarely get people spawning there with us, so it definitely is one of those things. Now, I'm a very cautious player, so I'll go to areas where there's not going to be a lot of people most of the time, unless I'm feeling Nuketown and feeling a little dangerous or crazy. So in my opinion, these are the top 5 best drop spots for the best loot in Blackout. Now, if you guys have one that you think I missed or anything like that, make sure to let me know down below. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Greg FPS, the Zombies Extraordinaire, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.